turn it down, man, the beat too loud. Bet when mama see me now, she proud. Even Steven, he done beat them odds. Far from easy, but I figured it out. Seen a lane, then I paid me a route. Now they pay me just to see me come out. Quarantine over is far from a drought. Anthem ring 'em, bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Hustle Pray the podcast, episode 52.
Man.
I don't know if I'm going to count this as 52 in my heart though, because I already recorded episode 52 and it was a great episode. Like, me and Mark felt so good about it. It was on one accord with everything from start to finish. We was celebrating, we had our balloons and everything, because we said like 52. Yeah. Now, if somebody was to watch an episode once a week, we can entertain them for a year.
Oh, yeah.
So 52 was a big deal, but here we are. Here is episode 52, and I'm going to be totally honest, guys. I'm recording this on my phone right now.
Hey.
Because of the reason, and the same reason that happened last week. For some reason, these cameras and my memory cards do not want to work. And Quese, you saw me. I tried like 5 different memory cards.
Tried so many cards. I was like, yeesh.
And they're all empty, so I don't know what's going on. And so I have to troubleshoot that this week, but I don't have time right now, and I don't want to waste any more of Quese's time. So thank you for being here for episode 52. My name is Jade, or Miss Teapot, because we spell one of the T's out. And I'm joined here today with a very special. He's a guest of the podcast today, but he's not a guest to Hustle Pray or to the Edge. Quese Allen.
Quese, let's get it. Hey.
Who is our worship leader here at the Edge. So a very vital part of the Edge family. Quese, thank you for being here.
For sure.
And how are you doing today? How's your week been? Tell us in the scope of Hustle, Pray, Eat.
Man, so first of all, I'm just happy to be here, man. This is my first appearance, so yeah.
You've appeared. Trust me, you've appeared when you scared the living daylights out of me. And then you came and you sat in for a little bit. Do you remember?
What did you call me that day?
A silly man.
You said, Quese, you silly man. Oh my god, man, that was so funny. But yeah, man, my week, man, it's been dope, man. I definitely hustle like every day. You know, being a worship leader here, being a dad and a husband. Always grinding, man.
You got like what 3? So you do the Edge, worship leader at the Edge, and you're a referee.
I referee high school sports, volleyball and basketball. I go to different churches.
Yeah, you're also a traveling artist.
Like I said, full-time dad. Yeah, man. So yeah, I do a lot.
You do a lot. So you definitely got the hustle down. So what are you praying about in this season?
Man, you know, I think I can say this for anybody that's doing any type of business or ministry. You always want direction. You always want to know where you're going. So I'm consistently praying about that. Like, God, where do you want me to do? What's the next move? You know?
Yeah.
So consistently praying about that. And as far as like eating, man, I think I've been really studying. We actually had a meeting yesterday.
Yes.
And
very productive.
Yeah, just talking about Easter. We got Easter right around the corner. As a worship director, you got to always have that stuff in your forefront. So
absolutely, those big holidays and those big days of celebration for us. So yeah, we've been diving into the Gospels really. So from the point of the Last Supper, and we're telling the story for Easter.
For sure.
And we don't want to give too much away just yet. But we've been reading that for sure.
Yeah, I got the Gospels in, man. So we've been getting in there. So yeah.
So Quese, why I'm so excited to have you on today is because I know Quese as Quese the worship leader. Quese the Christian man who has like the hugest heart ever. One thing about Quese, not only is he a worship leader, you have a pastoral heart, and you really do pastor to a lot of us here. And so your home is the place where we go and hang out. We have so much fun. Every time Quese says, you know, come over, it's guaranteed to be a good time. That's when we watch.
Get loose at my
crib. Everybody. No, for real. Everybody's able to just let their hair down. You know, we're not at church. We're just hanging out, having a good time. You have game nights, the Super Bowl. We all watched it there as well. So I want to talk about that. But first, give us your testimony, because I've never really heard it in its entirety. We're gonna jump right into
testimony. Oh, Lord.
Let's start at the beginning, because the only real testimony testimony I've heard from you, and I know of you, is what I hear in music.
Okay.
So especially like the IMG cipher,
Yep.
it's like get it,
Yeah,
that was
man.
me. So you talk about being in the club with somebody's girl and stuff like that. So I really want to hear about your life before Christ and how Christ brought you into the fold. So like, what is that story?
Yeah. So to go way back for a quick second, I was raised in church. You know, I started off in church, being raised in church. Well, we all know being raised in church doesn't mean that you accepted Christ.
Or that you have a relationship.
You know, so I don't think I had a relationship till I got grown. So let's start there. But after that, you know, became, you know, an adult. I started partying a lot. I did secular music because I was, you know, I guess I was gifted at singing, rapping.
He's an amazing singer.
So my homeboy that was doing music down in Holland, Michigan, he had a studio. He was like, "Hey man, I need you to sing on the chorus, blah blah blah."
So is he an R&B singer?
Yeah, I did my little thing, man. You know,
sexy tunes.
So yeah, man. You know, before I was married. But yeah, man. So I used to do the club scene, party, recorded some albums.
Oh really?
Yeah.
They still out there?
They're still out there. They trash. But they're still out there. I had the vocals, though.
I'm going to dig them up.
Man. So, my name was the same, too, Quese. But
was it?
Yeah. So, you know, we did a lot of different concerts. I opened for some names, too, man. Twista.
You opened up for Twista? The rapper?
Yeah, it was in the dream. Yeah, I was with that dude. Twista.
Wow.
I don't know if you know who Paul Wall is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really? I'm showing my age too, by the way. But
really?
Yeah, man. So I did some things with them, man, and a few other people that you know that are still doing it. But yeah, those are probably the most notable names.
Yeah.
So I was able to do that for about 2 years, man. Traveled a little bit, which pushed me to drinking when you do clubs. Pushed me to girls. Pushed me to doing a lot of different things that I shouldn't have been doing just because I was doing music, you know.
Oh wow! So was you not like much of a drinker before?
Nope. Wow. I was not. Like I said, I was raised, you know, in a home that was kind of tight knit. You know, I didn't have a lot of, you know, leeway to just do those things. But when I was doing my music, I started, you know, drinking. I started hanging out. I started partying. And it just became this lifestyle. Yeah. And it really weighed on me a lot. I mean, literally, I would party all night, go to work, because I was a manager at Wendy's. Go to work, I'll party all night, get done about 5 in the morning, go to work at 7.
Oh,
and then keep doing it. And to get really deep with it, I became an alcoholic.
Oh, you did?
Like, yes. It was bad. And I just drunk all day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was horrible, man. I wake up, girls in the bed with me. I was like, wait, where did you come from? I don't even remember.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was rough, man. Using my voice.
How long did that go on for?
Oh man.
Like how long was you in that state?
That lasted.
Alcoholism?
Yeah, I would say that lasted about 3 years. Wow. And at the time, a lot of times when you're doing it and you're partying with it, you don't feel like you're an alcoholic. Yeah. Oh, I'm just having fun. But no, it became a thing where it's like I had to drink in order to function. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously?
Yeah, it was bad, man. And
so let me ask you a question, because you said that you grew up in the church and then you got to this point where you are suffering with alcoholism. Could you hear, or did you even know God's voice to be able to like hear from God in that season, or what were the people around you saying? Yeah, so
that's a weird thing too. It's a good question. It's a weird thing because even in that state, when I was drinking, partying, doing the music, secular music, the guy I was recording with, he actually believed in God too. Okay, he had his own problems. I'm not gonna, you know, but he knew how I was raised and everything, and the people I was around knew how I was raised. But at that time, I was not hearing nothing from God, and I think it was just because of a rebellious spirit. Of me not wanting to be a goody two shoes type dude. You know what I'm saying? So it was because of that, and I think God was still speaking to me, but I wasn't trying to hear it.
Okay,
you know?
yeah.
So yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
So then what happened after that? So you 3 years, you going through alcoholism, partying all the time. Where did the breakthrough start to happen?
Yeah, man. So my sister Teresa, if you watch this, shout out to you. She writes gospel plays, kind of like Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
So she needed somebody to write songs. You know how you watch the plays, they have songs in them and everything. And she hit me up. I'm doing full-fledged secular music. I ain't thinking about God. So she hit me up. She's like, hey, man, I need somebody to write about 4 or 5 songs for my gospel Christian play. And I'm like, okay, I'll look around for you. You know? So
you didn't even consider it.
Didn't even think about it. And she was like, you got anybody? I think I was drunk even when she asked me. But no cap. But so she asked me that, and I was like, okay, I will look around. I know a lot of people that write, blah, blah, blah. And so I did. I actually searched, and everybody that was around me, they wrote secular music. They were like, bro, I don't know about God. I'm not trying to do that. And I hit her back like a week later, and I was like, there's nobody I know. Yeah. And she was like, dummy, I want you to do it. I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, you can do it. You know who God is. You praise in it, blah, blah, blah. And so I did it. I did it. And at this time, Shireen and I, my wife, we had kind of just started. Yeah, we just started kind of hanging out at that point. But anyway, so I wrote the songs, and I went to watch the play with songs that I wrote in it, and people performing them. Yeah, I was like, whoa! And the scriptures and gospel that I had grew up with came out in the lyrics, and it was things that God had showed me. As I was, within my junk, it was stuff that He showed me, and the pain and stuff that I've dealt with and everything. But man, when I saw that stuff on stage, I was like, oh, this is dope. That was more intriguing than the secular music, the clubbing, opening for Twista, all these guys. That was way more intriguing to me.
Wow.
So that's kind of like what kind of kickstarted me to going back to church initially. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
So you start going to church. Is it because your parents are pastors, right?
Yeah, my dad's a pastor.
Your dad's a pastor. So was it your dad's church?
No. So, no, I was in, I'm from a little town called South Haven. I had moved from there. So I was in Kalamazoo, Michigan at that time. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you start going to church and then, because you was a worship leader before you started worship leading at the Edge, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get to the point of now you are back in church? There's one thing being back in church, but then there's another thing being back into relationship. Yeah. So then where was the point where you decided to surrender your life back to Christ?
Yeah, man. So I started attending a church called Mount Zion in Kalamazoo. For that time, it was kind of progressive where they were doing different stuff, allowing rap to come in. So I started DJing a little bit at the church, and they had like a youth rap group. Okay. And I was like, hey, I do music. Now, mind you, this is when I first started going. Yeah. So I was still clubbing. Okay. So I was doing both, so it was kind of weird.
One foot in, one foot out.
Exactly. So the kids, man, they were excited. They knew I knew rap and everything. So I started helping with that and DJing, and it was really dope, man, to do that. But it was really hard in my spiritual sense because I'm clubbing at night, doing that scene still, and then waking up Sunday morning.
You start to feel convicted?
I started feeling convicted, yep. And I think that's when, that's when God really started speaking to me. Okay. He's like, you're starting to let that wall down now. Yeah. I can speak to you a little bit. Yeah. So that was like the initial thing when I started doing that. Specifically, I wrote a song for the church, and we did it with the youth rap group, and it like blew up in Kalamazoo area.
Really?
Yeah, it was called Milk to Me, and people were singing it.
Give us a little bit of it.
So the hook, I mean, it's probably really corny now, but it was me, Quese singing. You moving, 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 moving. Moving, moving, moving. We gonna move from Milk to Me, yay! Something like that. So
I love your voice.
So the whole church was singing. It was like for a whole year, like moving with Quese, moving, moving, moving. So yeah. So that was kind of the thing that got me to really commit. And eventually, I started slowing down drinking. Started, Yeah, my sister played a big part in that too,
Okay.
with her plays and everything. I started helping her a lot too. So,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So really, it's always been music.
Always. Yep.
Music has been your
Always.
hook, like what God and that goes to show, guys, like there might be something in life that you're passionate about that God is going to use to bring you closer to Him if you're not in relationship with Him right now. So like I think people have this misconception that, you know, once you come to Christ, everything is wasted. Everything that you're good at is wasted. Yeah. Like just because you were doing it for, you know, the world before does not mean that God is not going to use it, because the gift that He's given you is for His glory in the first place. Yep. So He just, you know, reclaimed ownership over the gift once you surrender it to Him, you know. So that's what we need to do, surrender our gifts to God, and we get better as well. Facts. You know, when you allow the Holy Spirit, 10 times better than what I was saying. You know, when you allow the Holy Spirit to work through you and work through that gift, it really is a thing of like building the kingdom, and that's definitely what you're doing now. So, okay, so you go from surrendering your life, and then how long after that did you become the worship leader at the church? So
yeah, I served at that church about a couple years, and then, you know, the youth director at that church, he was called to be a pastor. Okay. So he went off and started his own church called Trenches. Shout out to Trenches if you watch this. But yeah, man, that was a really dope ministry. They do a lot of like multicultural things, multicultural ministry, diverse style of ministry. It's very open. It's a non-denom church, you know. So I went from a Baptist church, just being honest, a black Baptist church, you know what I'm saying, where they do the shouting and running and all that, which was dope. That's what I grew up in. And going to non-denom, which was a more multicultural type thing. So that's when I became the worship director. Okay. When I went there. So I led there, 6 years? Okay. And that was the last place you were before the Edge? Yes. Okay. Yep. So then we get to it then. Yep. So then I remember 5 years ago when I came, I remember setting up your merch table for you. And we had a guest, and P was like, give him this envelope. I thought you was so dope. I was like, man, what was this? Yeah, the voice, and then the way you was. I was like, still dope. I'm joking. Wait, what did you say? Am I still dope? Oh yeah, you still dope. Oh, I thought you said, did I sell dope? I was like, wait, what? And I said, yeah. I'm like, hold up. Oh, she moving bricks now. No, I'm just fishing for compliments. But you still dope, man. You're one of the dopest people I know. Oh, thanks. But okay, so I remember meeting you and everything, and I know that P was going to ask you to be the worship leader here. So so you tell me from your perspective, like because I know you've done something with the Edge before. Yeah. So how did it all come about? So the transition. So when I went to that church to be the worship leader for 6 years, I started to really dive into my own individual artistry. You know, which, you know, was really dope. I really grabbed it. And I was like, I really want to do this. I had another thing too. I had started a rap label. Oh, you did? Called STG Music. Spreading the gospel was super duper like gospel. You know what I mean? It was dope, man. We had a few guys down there. We did a lot of stuff in the Kalamazoo area. I made this album called Diversity, and it was different. We had like the pop sound in there, R&B. A lot of people that I was with before, they didn't like it. Okay. Like, bro, I don't know. Yeah. But what happened was exactly what God was showing me. Is a lot of other doors would open. Yeah. And that's what happened. Okay. So I started doing a lot of shows from that, and ran across these two guys. One of them named Beacon Light. He was calling himself Beacon Light then. Yeah. And Stephen Malcolm. You guys know. Yeah, man. So, and I had already knew Quese Morris too from Benton Harbor, and he had moved here too before me. So, but anyway, so meeting Stephen and Beacon on the road, just you know, they was like, man, we keep seeing this dude. Yeah. Like, who is this guy? You know, so we started talking a little bit. So from what I understand, Beacon and Steven came back here, and it was a show, Derek Minor and Cannon.
Okay.
And none of those guys were available.
Oh, okay.
Steven and them, they were all busy.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was touring and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I remember those days. Back in 2016, everything was just popping.
Mm-hmm.
But COVID,
Yeah.
But anyway, so Beacon, PE, Pastor Troy, he asked Beacon,
Mm-hmm.
man, we need somebody to open for Derek and
Mm-hmm.
Cannon.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, man, we just did a show with this dude named Quese. And it was a show down in Battle Creek we did. And so they had me come up,
Yeah.
open for those dudes. And I don't know who initiated asking me to come in the lead once a month. I think it was Vanessa Alvarez, I think. But whatever. So I came in once a month to lead worship. And I don't even think PE had saw me. Pastor Troy hadn't even seen me yet till about 5 months in, after I had been coming in once a month.
Okay. Because, PEs are traveling.
Super busy.
He's super busy.
He is really busy then, for sure. So he saw me about June of 2017. And as soon as I said amen at the end of the service after leading worship here, he was like, bro, I need to talk to you. So he literally grabbed me.
and you guys will remember Tank talking about how he started coming here as well. It's always P saying, I need to talk to you.
Exactly. That boy hit me with the, come on, man. My brother. So, I went with him to his office. And
which was this room.
This room,
yeah.
So, he was like, hey, man, we need you here. He said, the way you sing, the way you can rap, you understand music very well. You've been touring, the rap game, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he said, pray about it, but, offer me whatever. And, it was dope. So I prayed about it. A month later, I hit him up and was like, hey, man, this was July of 2017. I was like, hey, man, God is moving me to come here. That was probably one of the toughest decisions.
Okay, why? Let's talk about that. Because, I think sometimes when we as Christians talk about, God led me there and God told me to do this, sometimes we can make it sound as though it is, sorry, somebody messaged me. It sounds as though it's just easy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just easy to obey, easy to follow God. But sometimes, God is calling you to do something and it's not easy.
Man.
I will say, though, the first... me being asked to come here, that was the easiest yes I've ever given him. I was like, get me out of here! So why was it difficult for you?
So, really, I mean, the church I was at was like home to me. I was volunteering, and it was just a place I loved to be at.
Yeah.
So I think that really was it. I had been in Kalamazoo for a minute too, so I had a lot of friends there and stuff. Did the music thing and everything. And for me to grasp the thing of moving out of Kalamazoo to Grand Rapids, that was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And back then, the edge was intimidating to me. I'm just gonna be a buck with you,
and we do talk about that here. Me and Mark did that. It's intimidating.
It is.
And Pete always says that. He says, the caliber of people that we have on our staff, on our worship teams, it's not that they're mean or anything.
Yeah.
It's the level of talent that we have, and hip hop is more of an intimidating culture as it is. So it was intimidating for you.
Yeah. Man, so you coming in, you got guys like Steven, Beacon, and another thing, I dreamt of being on the Edge stage.
Really?
Oh man. So from the outside look, I've been here 4 years. From the outside looking in at the Edge, if you're in CHH, Christian rap, the Edge is the place.
Yeah.
I mean, we all were talking about, man, if I could just get on the Edge stage, that was just a thing that's always been talked about. And for, PE to ask me to come here, that was oh, okay. You got guys like Quese, Steven, Beacon, Zay Jones, all these guys who are just
and I think
super dope.
I think it's important that you say that, because it does seem like because of the amount of talent that there is and the amount of artists and national and international artists that have started here, it does seem like the place where, you come, if you get on that stage, that's it for you. Yeah. But that's why we always talk about on here, no, we are a serving church.
For sure.
You have to have the heart of servanthood. You have to be fat faithful, available, and teachable.
Yeah.
It's not that you're going to come to the edge and be a star tomorrow.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we always talk about it. Stephen Malcolm still serves here.
Mm-hmm.
He holds the camera. He does what he needs to do. He comes and, like, tidies up in here when it gets too messy. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like, you haven't stopped serving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not just that you're going to come here and be a star tomorrow once you get on the stage.
Facts.
No, we are a Bible believing, sound doctrine loving church who believes in the power of servanthood.
Facts.
So
man.
I just thought that was important too.
Yeah, and I mean, along with that, it's like, man, you got all these guys here. I'm like, oh man. So I wasn't even, to be honest, initially I wasn't even thinking about, God.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, you want me to be the worship leader with guys like Steven? Like I said, it's like, oh man, that's a tall glass to drink,
Yeah.
But anyway, so like I said, it's the edge was intimidating, and I didn't want to leave where I was at. And a lot of times, I think just in life, in general, you get comfortable.
Absolutely.
Anytime you're trying to grow or transition to something else, you should feel some type of intimidation or some type of nervousness or scaredness, so, and that's what I was feeling. And I was like, ugh. I was even talking.
Being stretched.
Oh man, yeah. Not only was I moving, my wife and I and our family moving, it was a huge deal. I sold my house. I had a house. Had to sell my house and live in an apartment.
Really?
Yeah.
So you lived in an apartment when you first came?
Yeah. Well, before I moved here, like we had to live in an apartment for a few months. So,
oh wow!
Yeah, it was a big deal.
And you got 3 kids as well.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so can you just talk about what was it like telling Shireen?
Woo! Let me not sleep in the basement tonight. No. So, that was, Shireen loved the church we're at, for one thing. So it was tough because she doesn't, just being really honest, she doesn't favor rap a lot. And we all know The Edge is a hip hop. I mean, that's what we do. That's our main genre. Not the only, but the main, So that was one thing. So to tell her, like, hey, we live in this contemporary church for a straight up hip hop church. She like, wait, what? And anybody that knows my wife, she has a strong personality, which is the thing I love about her. But so it was tough, man. That's why I took a month to decide. And but she's one that she knows when God is pulling me to do something. Yeah.
And she's definitely a praying woman. Like we know for sure. Like she's very prophetic. Yeah. So she was hearing from God too.
And she's been blessed a lot being in Grand Rapids. Has a great job and stuff. So she's super happy now at this point. Good. But yeah, it was tough though. Like we got to sell a house, move in an apartment, then get it was a lot.
And can I, like, a lot of people won't do that. Yeah. Like that's why, like, God, obedience is such a huge thing. Like we were talking about it on Sunday. Ryan Walk, shout out Ryan. He preached about
good stuff, bro.
About being obedient and Abraham's obedience to be willing to take Isaac and to sacrifice him. So like sometimes God will ask you crazy, huge ththings, and it's like, are you going to be obedient? So just shout out you for your obedience in that.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. It was tough, man. Like, coming here and trying to figure it out, you can't just dive into this culture and expect everything to just be all peaches and cream, like it's gonna flow. Like, no, you got to be locked and loaded, locked in with this culture, man. It's not just a thing of like, just coming here. Oh, I'll just, rap a little bit, no, bro. You gotta love the people. It was just a different type of culture and a lot younger culture too, younger people. So that was another thing.
Yeah, because you're like one of the old.
Yeah, and I'm in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, being 30 here is old. Like, dang. So yeah, but anyway, that was tough. It was intimidating because of those reasons. But man, the love that I got. I served the first Sunday in August of 2017. Yeah. Man, from you to There was this girl named Timna that sung. I'll never forget when I first heard her sing. I was like, oh my!
I remember
goodness.
the first time I heard Timna sing, I had chills all over.
My goodness!
Amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, just the vibe, the energy the Edge had, just the young people serving God. I'm like, this is dope. Like really dope, man. So everybody received me with open arms, and it was really dope. So that intimidation went away for a little bit. But like any job you have, it's gonna always be challenges.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? Yeah.
Challenges, but you know, one thing that I think you have really brought here, and you just walk in this, is unity. Unity for people and unity for the body. You know, you're one of the reasons why we exist as a body that moves together, that hangs out together, like I said earlier, that loves each other. And you know, people come to you with their problems. So talk about that. So talk about the relationships you've built here, the importance of, you know, the pastoral side of what you do, but then take us into more about your brand, which is Unity, and why you started it and what's behind that. So start first with The Edge.
Yeah, man. So, you know, being here, the thing that PE told me from the jump, he was like, hey, I need you to be the worship pastor. Something that I had never been before. I was a worship director, a worship leader. But a worship pastor is totally different than a worship leader or director.
Tell us the differences for people that might not know.
So what I've learned within doing this, worship leader, you get the music together, give direction on practice, everything that's tangible at the actual church. Yeah. Nothing outside of that. Relationships are minimal with worship leading or worship directing. And you just do the music, you know, and do what you need to do as it relates to the worship arts, you know. Pastor, worship pastor is everything I just said. And being in people's lives outside of the four walls of the church, calling them, hitting them up, giving direction, speaking into their lives, expecting people to just really loving people. Yeah, that's really it. You know, just loving people, and I think it plays a huge role in this context with it being a lot of younger people. Plays a huge role because some people may come from brokenness, you know, or whatever, and for somebody to love them and not just, hey, I just want you to, oh, you're a dope rapper, can you get on the stage and rap? You know, that's just, you start using people, man. But
that's so important. Like I really believe that like everyone should have a worship pastor. Facts. Because worship is the, you know, something that happens every week. But we're talking especially about the music here, and it's like you don't want your people to start feeling like they are only their gift. Facts. So if they're only getting calls about doing something for them, that's where people are gonna get turned off. That's where burnout happens. Well, you are definitely a person that even if you're not asking me to do something this week, I always hear from you. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I appreciate that. Yeah, man. For sure.
And I think that's what a worship pastor is. You just be a people person and reach out. And,
is that natural for you?
So this is a secret about me. I'm very quiet.
You are quiet.
I'm quiet, but I'm not at the same time. Yeah. As everybody knows, you come to my house, you see Quese making jokes, laughing, you know. Having fun and everything, but I'm very like when nobody's around, if I could just watch basketball on TV, I'll be in heaven. For real. So, but it's kind of a thing I've adopted going back to Unity. The last church I was at, they were really diverse, like I said, and it kind of cultivated this mindset in me. Actually, Kalamazoo area, they have a thing called Jesus Loves Kalamazoo, and they brought all the church of Kalamazoo together. It kind of initiated me changing my sound a little bit with my music, making a diverse sound and trying to reach everybody. And I'm gonna give her props too. My wife came up with this. Unity starts with me. Okay. I remember like yesterday we were in Quese and I was like, man, I want a good slogan, like something that, you know, that people can grab, but it's what I believe. So I said, unity begins with me or something. It was trash, bro. Like, I was saying all this whack stuff. And she was like, what about unity starts with me? I was like, yeah, okay. So that's been a thing for a minute, man. And so that's where unity came from, like the ministry that I had been doing up until that point before I got here. And being here, it kind of just rolled over. Man, I really love people. I really like helping people. I really like giving people encouragement and being there for them. You know what I'm saying? And I just really think that's important. And I think that is me. I just love doing it. I find pride in that. So
you exude it. And like, even like with the brand and the fact that like we are two brands coexisting in the same church. How has that been as well? And like, and why do you think it's important for like even on a business side to be unified? That rhymes.
Man, so kind of a sidebar, and I tell Mark this all the time. Remember, I was the first artist that took this out on the road. So
took us free out.
Yes.
Oh, shout out, Quese. Thank you.
So I remember, man, it was 2018. I think it was 2018. I did a camp. And I was like, hey, man, I'm going to be there for a week, man. You know, we could take Hustle, Pray, Eat Out. And we kind of partnered, man. This is before I even had started the new logo and stuff. So I just took HPE out, you know, and it was dope.
Yeah.
It was dope.
Oh,
so,
that's good.
Yeah, man. So I've always, like, man, I really bought into it. Or no, I won't say bought into it. I really believe in what HPE stands for. You know what I'm saying? And I live it.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying? You got to hustle. You can't just pray. Although you do need to pray, but you can't just pray alone. You gotta eat the word of God. You gotta get word in you. You gotta hustle and do what God is telling you. Because a lot of people will just sit there and read the Bible, and you're not doing anything.
Yeah, faith without works is dead,
man. So it's like, bro, you gotta do that. So I believed in that holistically, man, and that's why I took it out with me. And I've tried to support you guys as much as I could. You know,
absolutely,
and as well as vice versa. You guys have helped me tremendously, man. With unity, I've learned a lot. We go to the same printer, you know? So, you know, it's dope.
And you know, it's really important because I spoke about this on was it episode 52 or 50 it might be an episode 51 actually. I spoke about the fact that a lot of people will not reach where they're trying to go or where God wants them to go because of their lack of willingness to collaborate.
Facts.
And lack of willingness to do it together. But like for me, it's like the other day I was like, yeah, Quese, bring your stuff. Like when you want to do inventory and count inventory, use the sanctuary too, because that helps me. At least I've got someone to do it with. Do you know what I mean? And like we can learn systems from each other of like best practices. And then we have the store here at the church. Like, bring your stuff. Like, and we'll do it together because it is about kingdom building. Facts. And if two brands can coexist in this little church, you know, and not be in competition and stuff like that with each other, I think it's a beautiful thing. And it definitely speaks to unity.
Yeah. And I don't think I've ever said this, you know, out loud, but I appreciate the fact, I think it was like a year ago, you guys put my stuff on your site.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that was it was random. We did it for a few months, and it was dope, though, you know, just to see that collab and everything. So I appreciate HPE, Mark, PE, Jay, appreciate you guys, man, for all the work you're doing.
We appreciate you, absolutely. Yeah. And so, okay, I've got a question for you. Unity Downtown. The events that you've done.
Oh yeah,
can we see that 2022?
Yes.
Can you speak about what it was?
Yeah, so 2020 when everything started popping off.
Yeah.
COVID.
George Floyd.
Yeah, George Floyd died. You know, Black Lives Matter. Everything that was happening.
2020 was popping, wasn't it?
Popping. You believe that was 2 years ago?
I forgot that it wasn't just COVID.
It was a lot of stuff.
It was like
everything.
Traumatic.
COVID hit. And George Floyd and Arbery, the dude that was, you know what I mean? It was just all kind of crazy stuff happening.
Wow, 2020 was popping.
So,
popping and not popping at the same time.
Yeah, like, man, we can't go nowhere, but, woo, there's a lot of stuff happening. Crazy. So
how did so much manage to happen when everyone was meant to be in their house?
And I think that was the reason. Like, man, let me go shoot somebody. I should have said that. but
You cage up a bird for too long, it goes crazy.
Man, for real. So yeah, I mean, all that stuff happening, and it was like a response to what was going on in the world.
Yeah.
So I did 2 unity rallies basically downtown, right downtown at was it Rosa Parks Circle, which is dope. Rosa Parks Circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, right in the heart of downtown. They had some worship, unified worship, people from different churches. I think I had you come out, PE spoke, and pastors and teachers from other churches and everything came out and spoke. It was just a really dope, unified, diversified event. And we did a little walk to march to Division Street, which was dope, to show unity on Division Street.
Unity
Division
on Division.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, but yeah, so, I mean, those events were really awesome, man.
And it was not only was it bringing unity, but it was bringing unity through Christ and showing how Christ is a unifying factor. Do you know what I mean? So it's like bringing Christ to the heart of the city.
Yeah.
And once we're in Christ, that's when true unity can begin, because that's where true love is found.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I need to put you on my slogan. Have you the face of you're already the face of HP. But no, so yeah, it was dope. Like to be able to do that. And I've done events pretty much every year since then.
So 2022?
Yeah, I'm actually another thing. I got an EP coming, so I'm working, man. Working.
This is a secret.
Yes, I've been working in the booth.
Have you got a title?
I don't yet.
Okay.
I don't yet. So, but yeah,
is it conceptual or just?
It's still in the work.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still in the work. So I wouldn't say it's near finished. We're shooting for September.
Okay.
So, yeah, man. So I'm excited about that, man. My son MJ.
MJ. How old is he now? 10.
He's now 11 now.
He's 11 now, but like he's been rapping. He's on our worship team.
Yeah, man.
He does. Is it lights he does, or is it?
He
lyrics?
does. He actually does the lyrics. So.
Oh yeah, he does the lyrics. So he actually serves every week as well. So.
Yeah, man. So yeah, just being able to do events like that and bring people. Man, it was like 200 people at the first one that you spoke at.
Yeah, and I remember like the homeless people came and was sitting and loved it.
Yeah, so yeah, we had random, because we're outside, homeless people would come through and worshiping God. You know what I'm saying? People getting prayed for throughout the whole downtown. And then like literally, I think it was the same week we had the riots down there.
Oh yeah.
Because that was all around the same time.
Yeah, it was all around the same time.
And I mean, those riots were crazy. I think they went on till like 5 a.m. So I was like, we just did a unity event, but it was dope to do it. And I think, God moved through it. So
absolutely. Absolutely. So, Quese, you are a unifying person. You have the heart of unity. You have brought unity and continue to bring unity to the edge. And you bring, people into the worship team. You grow them as people, not just people, but as worship leaders and musicians and whatever else. So you are a unifying person. But this is the part of the show where Mark the BaddGuy, shout out Mark the BaddGuy, we miss you, he's on the road, brings his bad news. And it wouldn't be Hustle Fate the podcast without some bad news.
Bad news.
So, Chris, do you have any bad news? And when I say bad news, it doesn't have to be anything sad or necessarily bad. But maybe there's a lesson that you think people need to grasp. Maybe there's just something you want to get off your chest. Like if you guys haven't seen episode 50 and 48 where Steven's on and he just gets a lot of things off his chest about the industry. So this is your time to just say what you want to say.
Man. So
it's a safe place, Chris.
Is it safe?
The worst thing that can happen is that they will report me. Because for some reason they report me.
Jay gonna be put in the social media jail.
Yes.
Oh man. So I would say, man, this is something that's always been on my heart. Like within the CHH realm, like you can't expect. I hear these conversations all the time. People come to me and be like, "Hey, man, how do I get to your level? How do I get to Steven's level? How do I get to this? Blah blah blah." I'm like, man, it takes work. You know, it takes. There you go. It takes hustle. You got to pray and you got to eat, man. For real. It is what it is. But I'll say this, man. Don't expect, if you're trying to do music, just in general, if you're trying to do music, I don't care if it's contemporary worship, I don't care if it's straight hardcore trap sound, whatever. Don't expect to just come in and just go right to the top. Don't expect a label to just sign you just because you're a dope artist. Being a dope artist is not even like the number one thing anymore. And this is just from experience. Like,
true.
I don't care how good of a singer you are, how good of a rapper you are. You got to put yourself out there. You gotta have a bag too. You gotta have a bag to put behind it. If you're not signed, you gotta come into it knowing, okay, I gotta make sure I put money into this. I actually have to believe in what I'm doing and put into it. You know, so
stop quitting your jobs.
Stop quitting your jobs, man. Bro, like I make money from doing ministry. I work. like real talk. Like you not
stop. Especially subpar and even terrible. Like,
stop it. I was trying to avoid that.
Stop it, no, but stop it, and then expect your wife to carry the household because you're a wife and don't want to do it full time, so you quit your job.
Get your butt up and work. Go get a job. Now, for real, man. Like you can't expect, man, to not make it after 5 years and still. When I say make it, I'm talking about being able to live off of it. You know, you can do ministry, and that's where I'm at still. You know, I still do ministry, but obviously you got to work. You can't expect to just live off of, better than nothing. So let's be real, man. You got to work. You got to keep the grind going. If you want to do this full time, pursue it holistically. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put money into it, but at the same time, keep that money flowing in from a stable job too. You know, so this reality.
Thank you for your bad news, but no, it's true. It's good advice. So those of you who are out there, you're in a creative. Okay, I did this at one point in my life, but I can explain why. So I was working full time in a science museum at the age of I started when I was 17. Okay. So when I was 19, I was still there, right? But the job that I was doing, my co-workers that were doing the same job as me had like master's degrees and stuff in science, right? I just got the job because they liked me. Right? I went there in the summer and they liked me and I was good at it, right? So I got that job. So at like 19, I'm still living at home and everything. I was getting paid good money, so I was able to help my mum a lot. I was able to save a lot, and to the point where I was like, I'm taking a year off work.
Dang.
I was like, because it was around the same time I started performing poetry.
Okay.
And I just wanted, like, because I was working 9 to 5, like, every single day. I wanted some time, a break, to just be like, I just want to write.
Yeah.
And I said that to I sounded like, I must have sounded like I was off with the fairies. Because I said to my boss, I just want to write. So, but it was good because I saved up enough money and everything to be able to leave. And then my boss like bought me like notebooks and stuff and was like, pursue your dreams kind of thing. So and then and it was in that time that the opportunity came for me to move to Amsterdam and start a business course, and I didn't have to pay anything.
Wait, you went to Amsterdam?
Yeah, I lived in Amsterdam for a few months. I learned how to write professionally for businesses.
Oh, okay.
So let me tell you about it because it was a bit weird. So I worked for this. So it was a business course, but then you had to get like work experience as well. So it was an internship, and I was working with this business consultant people, but they were like scientists.
Okay, wow.
So I was like in the room, and they had like a glass office, and there was all these formulas, like scientific formulas all over
like
the place.
The movies.
Like literally they were geniuses.
That's crazy.
And the man that owns the business, he told me to write something, and he was going to analyze my writing. So I wrote this thing, and he analysed my writing, and he was like, you are a person of faith and all of this, you love this, you love that. And I was like, whoa.
That's crazy.
And then so it was cool because he was a Pac fan as well.
Okay.
Teapot.
Hey.
And so we used to just talk about hip hop and stuff like that all the time in the office. And they got me to learn how to do all this It's weird, my life.
So Amsterdam, they listening to Pac.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy. You never know, bro.
Amsterdam is very, very, very multicultural.
That's crazy.
They think by a certain year, they're gonna mixed people are gonna be the majority there.
Dang, okay.
But anyway, and my job was to go into businesses and find these small businesses, get their story, then write it, but then condense it.
Wow.
So that they could take what I wrote, turn it into a scientific formula.
That's crazy.
To be able to help them grow their business.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what I've done.
Wow.
And I've done that for a few months, and then I got offered a job in Romania at their business, like to go and work for them in Romania.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I never ended up going. I came back to England, and that's when I started doing radio production for BBC One and One Extra. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So God's taking me around the world.
Big things. Okay.
So, but I said that to say, like, I was able at that point to leave, and I just felt like I needed a bit of a gap. I think there's times in your life, but I wasn't foolish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't just leave and you have nothing coming in.
Sure.
You can't support yourself and anything like that, because though God is a provider, He provides through jobs.
Definitely.
He provides through, we need money to live in this world. So
and that's another thing too. God He will make a way for you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I hear artists say this too, like, man, I'm trying to get to this level. I want to be like this person. I'm like, well, be yourself. Yeah. First of all. God will open that door for you, so. But
and that's a great point that I said on episode 52 with Mark that didn't get recorded. I said, stop competing for spots.
Yeah.
Stop competing for things you are not anointed for.
Message.
You're competing with somebody else that is anointed for what they are doing.
Facts.
And so when you try to be like that person, or your eye is on that person's spot so much, your spot is missing a person because you're too busy looking over here. So now we have to fill this spot that you were anointed for with somebody that's not anointed for your spot. Man. So then the kingdom doesn't function the way it's meant to function because you're too busy competing with something that you're not anointed for.
Facts. I'm about to get the organ on. You out here preaching. No, for real.
No, but isn't that true?
Yeah,
and you see it a lot.
Yeah.
And even in our culture where hip hop is a competitive sport. So I'm not talking about the competitiveness of hip hop. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, you keep saying, you want to be where Steven is. But let Steven pave the way for where you're going to be eventually. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I'm glad you brought that point up. Like, we need every part of the body. So and God talks about this. If you are an ear, stop trying to be a foot.
That's it.
Because we still need to be able to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. While the foot is moving and walking,
Facts.
We still need to be able to hear. Yeah. If you're an eye, be an eye. If you're a hand, be a hand. Because we need every part of it.
That's one thing I live by is there's unity and diversity.
Absolutely.
Even though we're all different, we might have different assignments. We still believe in the same God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So do your part, man, and God will bless you within that.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, ultimately, we have the same assignment, which is, to build up the kingdom. But there's different parts that God needs you to do. So do that, and it works together. We don't need to print a shirt that says unity on it because you don't do that. You don't need to print a shirt that says hustle free on it because it's already part. But look, we can coexist together, and somebody that doesn't like a unity shirt might like a hustle free shirt. Somebody that doesn't like hustle free might like a unity shirt. Ultimately, we're getting out this message of the gospel and spreading the kingdom around there. So we need you all. We need all of the parts of the kingdom.
Be you.
Be you.
For real.
Be you. We all winning.
We all winning. Sauced up in the mix. You see the drip.
All I do is love like this. But yes,
classic.
An absolute classic. So So talking about Unity, you do have some new drops. So you're wearing one of them right now.
I got
I love the
I call this the what's my man's Electro. This the Electro hoodie.
Oh yeah,
off of Spider-Man. Like, got the blue,
that's
Electro
nice.
hoodie.
I'd call it what's her name? Oh, what's her name? Help me.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking
The X-Men.
Oh, you talking about the girl
girl
off X-Men. I know you talking about. I can't think of her name.
What's her name?
She would be with Magneto though. I can't think of her name. PE probably gonna be mad.
Yeah, PE. What's
I can't think of her name.
What's the blue girl's name?
Yeah, man, I know you talking about that. But yeah.
But then you have these amazing jackets.
So this the MLK, Unity jacket right here, man.
The Unity jacket, and it says Unity starts with me, and this is embroidery.
Embroidery.
And it's I don't know if the camera is not picking it up well, but it's embroidery.
Yeah, man.
And it's so nice.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of good feedback from that joint, the quality and everything.
Yeah,
so,
great quality.
Still got a few left, man. If y'all want some.
So where can people find Unity jackets and hoodies and t-shirts?
So right now, I'm still doing everything myself.
Okay.
I am creating a website again, so you can hit me up, quesemusic.com, or I said quesemusic.com, Quese Music on Facebook or Instagram. You can just inbox me that way, and I'll get it to you.
And where can we find your music?
Everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. I got videos and everything. So.
What is your favorite song of yours?
Of mine?
Yeah.
Ooh, man, I got a lot of music, man. A lot of it's older, but I'll just stick with the newer stuff. I will say, I gotta go with We All Winning.
And why? Why is that?
We All Winning was like the rebrand of Quese. That was like the first song I did. I never forget this little side story about that. So PE, so we had just started doing IMG, Infinity Music Group.
So you are also IMG affiliate.
Yeah. So I was, in that and everything. So PE was like, "Hey man, I didn't know how to record myself or anything at that time. I had been hearing it, but maybe 10 months or something.
Oh,
I didn't know how to record myself.
Oh, really?
I used to go to a studio. The guy just had me go do my vocals. And he would just, record me. Anyway, so PE gets me in the studio with Steven off Jump. Now, I told you about the intimidation.
Yeah.
Like, you want me to go to the studio? Steve, like, can I get somebody else? Like, no, you going with Stephen Malcolm. I'm like, oh. All right, he had just got signed and stuff. I'm like, no. But anyway, so we got the beat playing. The beat was from B Code, one of our guys too. And I was like, man, I think I could do something to this beat. He was like, okay, Steven. Steven's a go get him type guy. He's like, okay, you said it, do it.
Yeah.
And that's what Steven did. And I was like, oh, I can't listen to it for a week. He's like, nah, right now. I was like, oh. So anyway, we get the beat. I started writing, and the hook. I always start with the hook, and just imagine how I feel Steven breathing right over my neck. I'm like, oh, shit, I hope it ain't trash. I hope it's not white. I wasn't ready. So I said, and my brain's got this little melody, oh, okay, it'll be dope, So I wrote the hook, sauced up in the mix, you see the drip. He asked me to perform it for him before I recorded it.
Really?
Steven did. Yeah. He was like, okay, man, let me hear it. I was like, so I did the hook. He was like, that's dope. First thing, I think it was one word I switched. He had me switch, and I switched it. I can't remember what it was now, but so yeah, went and recorded it, and that song, that was like the first song I had did since I was at the Edge.
Okay.
I hadn't done a song about the music I did in Quese, which was more. My music was more like straightforward, like Jesus in your face, which is not bad.
No.
But, I learned a lot here with my writing to be able to say things with more metaphors and different ways of presenting Jesus and not just like, here he is type of thing.
And, can I speak to that? Because that Jesus even presented himself metaphorically a lot of the time
Facts.
too.
Yep. Yeah.
Jesus himself wasn't always going around saying, I am that I am.
Yeah.
A lot of the time
Yeah.
it was metaphorical.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's another thing, like when it comes to music artists and hip hop, because I always like to use this platform also to educate those that are not of the culture and are looking at it like, how is that Christ? Like, how is that glorifying to God? Just listen better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just listen better. And I really believe that's why a lot of the time Jesus did choose to speak in parables and similes and metaphors, because he's like, okay, if you really want to know, you're going to listen.
Facts.
And you have to actively try and figure out what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Sometimes, sometimes he got frustrated and just said things plainly, or sometimes things were like so urgent that he'd have to say things plainly. But I just thought that was a good point to
and I think with that, just being around everybody that was in IMG and stuff, I've learned different ways of writing, and it's helped my music tremendously, man. So I'm still able to reach the people that I was reaching before, but at the same time I can reach the lost. And I think that's where we miss it, because when you write just scripturally ways of writing, not taking scripture out of it, when you write it that way, people that never went to church, the people that we should be ministering to, it'd be hard for them to receive it.
And here we're all about over communicating. So you guys know, I always say this, like, the mission of the Edge is to reach the hip hop culture for Christ. I'm saying not just to entertain Christians that love hip hop. So sometimes you do have to be more subtle with it, and so to get their ear, and when they hear, they're gonna hear the gospel regardless. It's just written in a different way.
And I think too, even just saying it metaphorically, like I can't think of that off the top of my head right now, but but saying things metaphorically, it means the same thing. But you're saying it in a dope way where everyone can grab it. Like, oh, it makes people think a little bit. But it's like, oh, he didn't just say this. He said it, but he didn't say it that way. So it's a dope thing to be able to go to a concert or hear it on music, man. People they know what you're talking about. They can hear it, but it's not like, the straight up kind of whack. Just to be honest with you.
It's true.
Just being honest.
It's true. So we all winning.
We all winning, man. So that was the song.
I'm gonna put that at the end of this episode. Then.
Yeah, man. So we all winning. I had Peasy, sorry. Peasy and
I never called him Peasy. Am I meant to?
Percy.
Sorry, Peasy.
So Peasy and Kiwi jumped on that one. That was like the song, like, oh, this is dope. Quese can do something different than what he was doing before. It had a little saucy type vibe on there. I was able to do things differently with my voice. And I think I'll say that's the song. That's the song, man. I love it because it's a lot of people liked it, and I think it's my most popular one too. So
and didn't you do merch for that one too? Right?
I did do merch for that one.
Yeah, and that done well, didn't it?
Did real good.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna ask you to play me a cup of tea, but I don't. Do we need it? Did you think of one? Okay. So this is the part of the show. It's Miss Teapot's Cup of Tea, where Mark always plays me a Christian hip hop song to see if actually it's not always been CHA. Sometimes it's just been a Christian song that he's liked to try and get me onto Christian hip hop and see if I like it and let me give my honest opinion. So what song have you got for me?
So I got Lecrae and 1K Few. We all know they dropped a little album. It's called Born Sinner. We're actually doing this one Sunday.
Oh, okay. So this is, let me see if I like it.
Yeah, so here we go.
Who's on set?
Tank. Yeah. Get off the top of my head. Percy.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm just trying to live righteous, ayy. Made it through a life crisis, ayy. Legalism ain't no license, ayy. Gave God all of my vices, ayy. Trying to step out of my cycle, raising my kids and raising my FICO. Trying to go to heaven, not viral. I like the words of my Bible. All I ever wanted was some better understanding, but I'm still with the drama like I'm Don Cannon. Chop just like I'm Shannon, lobster and salmon. I'm from where them choppers singing like they Fred Hammond. Young boy got bands on me, mama just lay hands on me.
Yeah, we won't play the whole thing. That is Miss Teapot's cup of tea. Well done, Chris. Because it's hard to get my cup of tea right.
Man, for sure.
You know that.
Yeah. And I've, so this is what I always tell Jade, man. She's like the most savage.
Oh, he says that all the time.
She's like the most savage person, and I tell people this, like, Jay's the one person that could literally cuss you out and make you feel better. Like, for real. You be like, wait, what just happened? I feel pretty good. She just got that, the way her demeanor and her voice is like, what? So, that's what's up.
No, but yeah, you see me on my highest and my lowest.
Yeah. And by the way, she don't know nothing about football.
Oh, no, I don't. I do now.
You do now?
Mariel taught me.
That's what's up.
Yes, I understand it now. But yes, Chris, he always says I'm savage. Like,
oh my goodness.
But I think, so I just
in a loving way, though.
Well, I don't mean to be. I just value honesty. So
no, I feel that. Yeah.
So you have me and then Mark the BaddGuy doing a podcast together.
Goodness.
You see why we went into problems. Okay,
Man.
Quese, thank you so much for being here. Finally, episode 52 is in the bag. So hopefully this works out. I think it looks okay.
Yeah, it looks good.
And hopefully it sounds okay. So yeah. Thank you, Quese, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Yeah, see you. Oh, and everybody in the UK, go and check out his music too. So yeah, see you in episode 53.
All I do is love like this. You're the shirt off my back, yeah, we all winning. Together in this thing, yeah, we all winning. I'm sauced up in the mix, you see the drill.